Well, hello fourth graders, it's me again, second and final part. So we were studying this Kutrapali's pronunciation video on tenses, how to conjugate different tenses, and we were revising the simple present tense, which indicates habits and general truth. Let's watch.
With S or ES. For example, Jimmy plays in the garden.
Bear in mind, and this is something that we study in conjugation, verbs conjugation, anytime that we're dealing with third person, that is to say he, she, and it, we need to use in general S, like Jimmy plays in the garden.
In this sentence, the verb plays indicates an action in present which is going on. Verbs in simple past tense indicate actions that happened in the past.
Yes, exactly. Simple past tense, the action started, that is to say initiated, and finished at some point in the past.
In this case, the verb simply ends with ed.
Regular form.
For example, Jimmy played in the garden.
We don't know exactly when the action took place, but it's over. He already finished playing in the garden. Jimmy played in the garden. Bear in mind that you also have the conjugation of irregular verbs. When you have irregular verbs, they change drastically.
In this sentence, the verb played indicates an action in past which is completed. Verbs in simple future tense indicate an action that will happen in the future.
Remember that this is what we have been studying in the last weeks of our Contract 6. Simple future tense, indicating actions that will happen in the future, also for predictions making and for first conditional, that is to say, possibilities and probabilities.
In this case, the verb simply begins with will. For example, Jimmy will be playing in the garden.
Well, that's a more complex structure. It's called future continuous tense. But in general, Jimmy will play in the garden, okay? In the future.
In this sentence, the verb will be playing indicates an action in future which has not started. Now, let us see a few more examples. Sun rises from the east.
Third person.
Here the verb rises indicates an action in present which is going on.
General truth.
Jimmy planted beautiful saplings in the park. Here the verb planted indicates an action in past which is completed.
The action finished.
Jimmy will eat pizza after playing. Here the verb will eat indicates an action in future which has not started.
So there we see as we say, grosso modo, that is to say in general, we can see how the main tenses are conjugated. We have simple present tense, that is to say, remember we have to use S or ES when we use he, she, and it. We have past simple tense for an action that occurred in the past. We have regular and irregular verbs, but in this Kutrapali video we just saw the conjugation of regular verbs. And we use will, as we have been studying for the last 3 weeks in our Contract 6. We use will for predictions making, situations in the future, expectations, and a future framework, and first conditional. That being said, let's double check the contents that we have already studied in verbs. The 4 verbs that we studied in week 1 were shut, which is move something into position so that it blocks an opening, shut the door. When you arrive in your house and you get mad, you should not do it, but sometimes we're so mad and out of control that we shut the door. Sing is to make musical sounds with the voice, especially words with a set tune. Like anytime you had the karaoke section with me or with Miss Wendy, we had to play different tunes without voices and we were singing. Sit. Adopt or be in a position in which one's weight is supported by one's buttocks rather than one's feet and one's back is upright. That is to say, sit down. Okay? Sleep is a condition of body and mind such as that which typically recurs for several hours every night. You can sleep, you can take a nap, okay, as you can see it on the picture. We have different conjugations. We have the third person, we have the past tense, and the past participle. Let's see, you were supposed to complete these on your contract. I had already completed them and we had already checked them, but we're going to read them anyways. Alexa, can you read number 1 and 2? Past progressive negative. The dog wasn't sleeping. Present perfect continuous. The dog has been sleeping. So you can tell for the past progressive we use was and ing, and for the present perfect continuous we need to use have and has, been, and the ing form of the verb, right? Carla, thank you Alexa. Carla, can you read present perfect interrogative and zero conditional? Has the dog slept? If the dog gets tired, it sleeps. So remember, for present perfect we need have or has, and the past participle. Remember, the past participle is not used in an independent way. It always relies on another verb, which is usually called an auxiliary like have and has. And zero conditional general truth. If you eat 16 tacos every day, you get fat. That's a reality. If you take an ice cube to sunlight, it melts away. So if the dog gets tired, it sleeps. Present and present. Thank you, Carla. Majo, hello. Can you read the last 2 sentences, please? The dogs sleep. The dog hadn't slept. This is simple present is an action that is performed every day. And past perfect negative is an action that is performed before or previous to another main action in the past. The dog hadn't slept, okay? This is something that we had studied already. In week 2, we studied verbs like smell, speak, spell, spend. Smell is the perception, to perceive or detect the odor or scent of something. Odor normally doesn't smell good, and scent is like a perfume, is nice. Speak is to say something in order to convey information, an opinion, or a feeling. I speak in different languages. So do you. Spell. Write or name the letters that form a word in a correct sentence or sequence. Spend is to pay out money in buying or hiring goods or services, like any time Majo spends money getting new slimes. Okay? So we have, remember, third person, past, and past participle. We have to change the sentences in the following tenses. We did that already, but we're going to read and double check that conjugation is correct. So, David, hello, did you enjoy the Kutrapali video? Hope you did. Can you read the first 2 sentences, please? Present, progressive, negative. The soup isn't smelling delicious. We use the verb to be and the ing form. Present perfect continuous, interrogative. Has the soup been smelling? Okay, you eliminate this one. Now, present perfect interrogative. Has the soup smelled delicious? Arlette, can you read? Are you there? Has the soup smelled delicious? So we use have and has, and the past participle. Remember, it's not independent. It always relies on an auxiliary. In this case, it's has. Now we have Arlette, zero conditional. If you don't heat the soup, it won't smell. Well, it doesn't smell in general. Simple present and simple past negative. Barbie, the soup smells delicious. Remember to conjugate the verb with S. The soup didn't smell delicious. Whenever we talk about past tenses, we need to use the auxiliary did or didn't, depending if it's an affirmative or negative statement. Now, time for homework. You gotta watch the following interview for kids, and you're going to answer the questions in the box of comments in this video. Please Do not expose yourself to humiliation. Avoid copy-pasting. It's going to be very obvious. Pay attention.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In Florida.
In Florida. If you were an animal, which one would you be?
Puppy.
Ooh, why? Why do you say a puppy?
I love dogs. Now I'm allergic to them.
You are allergic?
I'm allergic to cats and dogs, pecans, walnuts, peanuts, and seasonal allergies.
Are you allergic to hard work?
No.
I wanted to know, how many golf balls can you fit on a jet?
502.
Very specific, and I like it. What would your management style be?
Yeah. I would make them club.
Are you willing to relocate?
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking about it.
Are you looking for equity?
A lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
How, like percentage-wise? What are you thinking?
100.
Okay, so we have this interview. If you need to go back and pause the video to check the answers, you can do it. Feel free to do so. In fact, that's a correct way to do this homework. These are the questions. What has the first girl said about where she sees herself in 5 years? And you see the interview in the first section. This is present perfect tense, have and has and past participle. If the second girl were an animal, which would she be? And what has the second girl confessed she was allergic to? This is the second girl. Remember, she has lots of seasonal allergies. How many golf balls did the third kid say fit on a jet? This is past simple tense because we use did. What management style has the third girl said she would have? Present perfect tense. Remember, she was very bossy. Has the fourth kid thought about relocating? This is a yes/no answer, and this is in present perfect. Has the fifth kid been looking for equity? This is present perfect continuous, and you have to answer accordingly. That is to say, you pay attention to the interview. You can go backwards. You can double check the contents of the interview. Take notes on the answers, and please, you know the procedure. First, you write down the acronym to your name, list, number, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You write down number 1 and you give me the answer. Number 2 and you give me the answer. That way, alright? Well, thanks for watching. I miss you a lot. Stay tuned. Tomorrow we will have our usual reading comprehension practice. And then you have social emotional on Friday according to the calendar, right? Nice to see you. Oh, well, nice to know about you. Again, I miss you, and well, keep in touch. Do your homework. Bye-bye.